Hey there everybody, about time for another one of these videos. Finally got some peace and quiet. And first up, I'd just like to say thanks to everyone who's been commenting and telling me I've been doing a good job so far. That really means a lot and wants me to keep going with this. Finally got the furnace to turn off there, so it's nice and quiet. So I figured I'd show you off this model I recently finished. Just, I think it was a '69 Ford Torino, and this one's based on a NASCAR chassis. So I got a Chevy NASCAR and a Ford body. Front bumper is a late '70s, early '80s Cadillac. Grill, Mercury, I think. A lot of parts from the parts bucket. So it's a bit of a mutt. A lot of kit bashing going on in this one. Fender flares are from a Revell's Jeep Wrangler kit they recently came out with. And some little decals. Got King of the Road on the back, Cherry Bomb, and under the hatch, got a whole panel of them. The idea behind this car was, it was more like an old race car that was found on someone's property, something they had made. Try to show you the interior there. And, just basically just the shell and chassis of a car, missing parts. And with a lot of race cars like this, they tend to replace body panels with like fiberglass and plastic to keep weight down. So I'd imagine not much of the original car would have been metal, just the sheet metal, so you would end up with them having to find like a grille and lights and bumpers, some fender flares to go around, maybe the side of the car was all smashed up, and then extra armor. Car probably wouldn't have had windows. You would just be racing with like a visor on your helmet or something, like dirt track, flat track cars. And I wanted this to be a much more menacing looking vehicle, just because a lot of the stuff I was making was starting to look the same and be a little bit more tame. So I went for all these spikes and cut from old pipes on the front. I tried to make it look like this one had been built for a long time, so there was no fresh metal. It was a pretty even layer of rust. Tried to give it a really angry stance and look. The exhaust had that come out the side. Tried to give it the impression that it went all the way through. More spikes in the back. Figured the spikes would be more defensive than anything. If you tried to get up alongside to, pop out his tires or do the pit maneuver, your car would have to go through those things before you even got to him. Spare tire, it's not really a good spare for this car. It's not even close to size. But this was one of the first post-apocalyptic models that I built, and I had glued that on there originally, and it's on there so firm, there ain't no way that thing's coming off without tearing off plastic or pieces of itself, so I just decided to leave it. Simple light in the back. Trying to make it look like if someone was chasing you, you could maybe turn it on and blind them, or if you were getting stuff out of the back or working on the back, you could turn it on. Got these 3 little pipes up on the top. Those would be for mounting a machine gun. Got a little one right here. So you could have it removable and go to different ones. The only problem with a lot of these guns are they're for military models, so the scaling is a little bit smaller, 1/35. But as long as the gun's big enough, it kind of hides the fact. Yeah, so I think this one came out pretty good. I was calling this one the Coyote because that's all that's left of an old decal that was there. It said something like Coyote Center Auto Incorporated or something like that. Yeah, went for on the armor. Kind of gave it the look like, it doesn't really look like it, but you know, I could always paint it to look as if maybe the these slats right here can slide open and down. I just used some like silver paint to make it look like the rust is always being worn off. The only way in and out would probably be the hatch, judging by or the door would be cut in half maybe, and it would just swing open above the armor on the side. That's all about, or that's about as much as I have to say on this one. I've been working on a few crazy things. This one I'm really proud of. It's not quite done yet. Got a bit more painting to go. But this one, like if I thought that last one was a mutt, this one is way above it. The body was an old Soxon Martin drag car, like a Plymouth Belvedere or a GTX, and the face, the grill, the bumper, and the hood is a '69 Olds from AMT. This was a pretty nice kit, and originally I was going to put the body of it on the chassis, but man, I saw this thing and that grill fit in there so perfect, I just had to do it. And the cool thing with this is I used a Revell's Jeep Wrangler kit as well for the wheels and the full suspension. And that kit has full working suspension as well, so that's pretty cool. I don't even know what kind of engine this has, just a random Ford engine, I think. Yeah, the big mortar of some sort mounted on the back. Tried to make it look like they had were cutting holes in the metal for lightness. Some sort of a assault rifle on the top. As you can see in there, I made it look like where people put their hands or climb in and out of or sit down. Tried to make it look like the rust was being worn off. Tried to make the spoiler look like kind of like a handrail or where you'd sit if you were trying to aim the gun from this side. Yeah, the dash is a '57 Chevy Nomad. I'll try to get a better look at that. The interior door panels were extra parts from AMT's 1970 Chevy Impala. And I always love when, like, AMT is real big on that, giving you full sets of spare parts. So you have all these crazy, like, custom parts you can use and just save them up for a model that really shows them off instead of putting them on a car that would have armor all around the windows. The diamond plate on the side, I'll probably paint that silver. Little footsteps there, thought those were pretty neat. Made those from scratch. These wheels, like, I absolutely love these things. They look good, they fit good, just a nice metal axle, so they're pretty sturdy. They're not too big and not too little, very adaptable. And the spikes, like, I don't even know why. It's kind of looking like one of the buzzards from Fury Road. I think Crash and Cinder mentioned that. This is actually that's where the original car came from when it was a drag car. And speaking of Crash and Cinder, here's another one of the models that I had gotten in a part trade for something I sent him. Doesn't really look like it anymore. That was one of his old 69 Chargers. And, you know, you can tell it looks close to the Peacekeeper, or the Bullet Farmer, Peacemaker, whatever it was called in Fury Road. And, but there were like a few places I've seen, like tank cars, but I just think Mad Max, they did the best representation of it, the way the body forms around it, and not just sitting on top of it. There's the back seat that was from that Impala. The lights are from the Revell Wrangler, along with that front bumper. You know, I love that bumper, but there weren't a lot of kits that were skinny enough. But I think the way the bottom of this tapers down, it kind of I think it looks pretty good actually. It's not too overbearing. The idea was with this is I wanted it to look lighter, so I stripped most of the body off and decided to color a lot of the inside silver. I might go back and cover it with a bit of an aluminum paint to make it look more like they used aluminum instead of steel to try to keep it light. Simple differential. This kit, or the tank I should say, was this one from Tamiya. Originally I had thought the tank was a lot bigger, but then I'd seen how small it was and I was a little put off from it. There's the furnace, if you can't tell, running in the background. But actually, I really think this came out pretty good. And let me try to do this one-handed here. I haven't glued it down yet because I'm still building it. The engine, I think that's a 454 with a triple carburetor setup. So if that's what, 4 barrel carbs, you know, that's what, like 12 barrels. The radiator is mounted in the front still, so I'd have extend the hoses on either side, and tried to make it look more realistic, as if there's a driver sitting in there with his arms and legs. He's got it wrapped up, trying to, you know, so he doesn't get burned as much, because even though they're rubber, those hoses get pretty hot. You know, simple hand controls and 2-foot controls. And I think that'll do it for this little video session. Sorry about that furnace if you can hear it and it's too loud. When my family and all them are here, it's much worse, and this is pretty much my only chance for a while, I imagine. So, thank you again for all your comments. I love looking at them. I try to respond to everyone that I can. Well, until next time.